You did everything right. You studied. You got the job. Your salary increased. And yet, somehow you're still not getting rich. Not even close. Every month, money comes in, and then it disappears. Rent, EMIs, subscriptions, food, small upgrades that feel harmless. And at the end of it all, what's left doesn't look like wealth. It looks like survival with better branding. This isn't bad luck. This is the system working exactly as designed. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Your salary was never meant to make you rich. It was designed to keep you functional. Right now, across the world, millions of people are earning more than ever before. Salaries are higher than they were a decade ago. Promotions are happening. Job titles are getting fancier. But real wealth? It's not keeping up. In fact, for many people, it's moving in the opposite direction. So what's going on? Let's break the illusion. A salary feels powerful. It's predictable. It shows up every month. It gives you control, or at least the feeling of control. But a salary is not wealth. It's a transaction. You trade your time, your energy, your attention for money. And the moment you stop, the money stops too. That's the first limitation. It's linear. There are only so many hours in a day, which means there's a ceiling to how much you can earn, no matter how talented or hardworking you are. But the deeper problem isn't just the ceiling. It's what happens after the money arrives. Because your salary doesn't exist in isolation. It exists inside a system that is constantly pulling it away from you. Start with inflation. Every year, the cost of living quietly rises. Food, housing, education, healthcare, everything gets more expensive. But your salary? It doesn't always keep up. So even if you're earning more on paper, your actual purchasing power may be shrinking. You're running faster just to stay in the same place. Then comes taxation. Before your money even reaches you, a portion of it is already gone. Income tax, surcharges, indirect taxes when you spend, it all adds up. By the time you actually use your salary, it's already been reduced significantly. And then comes the most invisible force of all, lifestyle inflation. The moment your income increases, your expectations quietly adjust. You move to a slightly better apartment, upgrade your phone, start ordering in more often. Maybe take that EMI for a car that feels affordable. None of these decisions feel reckless. In fact, they feel deserved. You worked for this. But over time, these upgrades lock you into a higher cost structure. Your expenses rise to meet your income. Sometimes they even overtake it. And now you're not just earning, you're committed. This is where the trap tightens. Because once your lifestyle expands, going backwards feels like failure. So you keep chasing higher salaries, not to build wealth, but to maintain the life you've already built. At this point, your salary isn't creating freedom, it's sustaining pressure. Now zoom out for a second. Think about how the wealthiest individuals actually build their money. They don't rely on salaries, they rely on assets. Assets are things that generate income without requiring your constant time. Businesses, investments, equity, systems that keep working even when you're not. This is where the gap forms. Most people spend their entire lives optimizing their income. Very few spend time building assets. So even with a high salary, they remain dependent on that monthly paycheck. And dependency is the opposite of wealth. Here's where it gets even more uncomfortable. The financial system itself is built to reward asset ownership more than labor. When you earn a salary, you're taxed at one of the highest rates. But when you earn through investments, capital gains, dividends, the tax treatment is often more favorable. When assets increase in value, that growth can compound over time. But your salary? It resets every month. You start from zero, again and again. So you have this strange situation where someone earning a moderate salary, but consistently investing, can build more long-term wealth than someone earning a very high salary but spending most of it. Not because they worked harder, but because they played a different game. And yet, most people aren't taught this. They're taught to study harder, get better jobs, negotiate higher salaries. Which isn't wrong, but it's incomplete. Because increasing your income without changing the system around it just scales the problem. You don't escape the cycle, you upgrade it. There's also a psychological layer to this. A salary creates a sense of safety. It's stable, predictable, reassuring. And that safety can become addictive. It discourages risk, delays investing, keeps you inside a structure where you feel secure, but never truly free. Because real wealth often requires uncertainty, delayed gratification, ownership, time, things that don't come with a monthly payslip. Now, to be clear, salary isn't the enemy, it's a tool. For most people, it's the starting point. But the problem is when it becomes the end point. When your entire financial life revolves around earning and spending without ever converting that income into something that grows on its own. That's when the system wins. You stay productive, you stay dependent, and you stay just far enough from real wealth to keep going. So the question isn't whether your salary is good or bad. The real question is, what happens to your money after you earn it? Does it disappear into expenses that reset every month? Or does it slowly turn into something that can outgrow your effort? Because at some point, the goal isn't to earn more, it's to need less of your own time to keep earning. And that shift is where things start to change. But most people never reach that point, not because they can't, but because the system they're inside doesn't push them in that direction. It keeps them focused on the next raise, the next upgrade, the next version of the same cycle. So you end up with a life that looks successful from the outside, but feels strangely stuck on the inside. And maybe that's the real question worth thinking about. If your income keeps growing, but your freedom doesn't, are you actually getting richer?